Hello everyone, welcome back once again. Today I have a replay for you submitted by TBRays11. Now TBRays11, not to be confused with the MLB team. I definitely didn't have to Google what kind of team they were because, you know, I'm definitely that into sports. But TBRays is one of the gaming group, I guess we'll call them, friends of mine. And he has been in many of the recent videos that I have uploaded here. One way or another, even some of the ones from a number of years ago, back before my extended leave of absence. And, well, this time, he's actually going to be featured, rather than just being part of the platoon, or, well, I guess you've heard his voice a couple times now in the Grand Theft Auto videos and whatnot. And what is going on here? Excuse us, T10. Excuse us, there's some sort of one-vehicle traffic jam here. That's, interesting. Anyway, TBRays in the 704, the Tier 9 Soviet tank destroyer, is going to learn us a thing or two today. Firstly, just watching his replay, observing what he does. I like to really observe what players are doing, what players are thinking when I watch these videos, and I could see there that he was thinking about setting up shop back there on that ridge and waiting for the enemy team to poke over, but then he noticed that his allies were actually pushing up a little bit there onto that ridge, and I think he decided here, although being cautious, you can see him looking to his left to make sure nothing is, hopefully, that he can see, shooting at him. But he decides, you know what, if they're committing, it's best for me to push up. If I sit back there, I'm going to get absolutely no damage done unless his teammates absolutely fail. And if that happens, then, well, it's not good for the team result anyway. So he takes the probably best decision, pushes up, and manages to hit that Tiger Mouse for 786 damage. Not a bad start. We're 2 minutes into this battle so far. He's keeping an eye behind him. The AMX 1390 is a little bit far away, not really having a proper line of sight. And, oh, hello. There is an AT-15 there. No problem. TBRays doesn't even need premium rounds in this vehicle to put a nice, healthy shot into that Tier 8 tank destroyer. That thing does have pretty good armor, and maybe I'm just used to playing tanks that don't have the proper penetration, but I feel like I can never get a proper penetration shooting the same spot that TB did there twice in a row very reliably. But that's the first enemy dealt with. TBRays will now possibly see what he can find to shoot at next. Is it that 1390? Nope, he is keeping a close eye on that though. I am liking his awareness. He's looking around quite a bit. Now he's going to try to show his little of his tank around that corner initially, as he could, to see what was there. Didn't have the opportunity, and he has that nice juicy lower plate there to shoot at, but just rusted the shot a little bit much. Very understandably, I probably would have done the same. That looked like it was very likely to penetrate, and, well, just luck was not on his side. The old RNG got him. Now, the Tiger Mouse is in the way, so he can't shoot the Type 57 unless it backs up and sacrifices unintentionally its teammate to TBRays. TBRays now has already done 2,500 damage just 3 minutes into this battle, and he's working. Oh, if he can get this Tiger Mouse, his third kill. There we go. 3 kills and over 3,000 damage in just over 3 minutes. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. But where is TBRays' next target going to be? Oh, hello, STRVK. What are you doing back there? It looks like TBRays might be leaving that guy alone, though. Maybe he'll just go see if he can pick on some other target. In the meantime, oh, wait. It looks like this STRVK is going to perhaps make it a little bit easier for TB after all, and put himself in the perfect spot to get shot at. And there is a little bit of a shot there, no problem. Didn't need to take any super crazy amount of time aiming at the back of the STRVK, even though they only had about a quarter or a half of the back of that guy's tank. Managed to take him out, no problem. And we do have to note there is that SU-130PM sitting in the bunker in the middle of the map. Looks like TB's already looked over there. I'm sure he's noticed. We'll probably see him keep a close eye on that SU-130PM in the middle there, because he can be a bit of a dangerous target. And I would definitely argue that the Object 704 is definitely not the heavily armored tank that I remember it being many, many years ago. And by many, many years ago, I mean probably 10 years or so ago, when I was still relatively-ish young into this game. TBRays now is going to cut through here. He has noticed that by looking at the mini-map, I know, right? Map awareness? When does that ever happen? That his base is under threat. And can he get a shot at this Cobra? Aims it nicely, and it goes really high. Isn't accuracy kind of a funny thing in this game? I mean, it makes perfect sense how it works, but at the same time, sometimes just RNG in general, you aim shots perfectly and they go nowhere near where you want them to, but other times you can just snapshot something and not spend any time aiming, and the shot goes perfectly to where you want it to. He takes a shot from the BZ-176 here. That tank, I hate fighting that tank. That thing is so overpowered, it upsets me greatly. Trying to play that thing in things like Strongholds that we tried recently, oh my gosh, just a team full of those? No, I don't even want to try this anymore. I don't even want to be there at this point. Looks like TB Rays now has decided he's going to turn around and see if he can get some shots at that SC-130 PM. And that would be a very nice target to take out of this game, especially since that guy could really pop up at any moment, just like that. And he's looking right at TB Rays, and luckily he misses TB. I mean, it wouldn't have killed him, but it definitely would have taken away any kind of hit point buffer that TB has left. And now TB is reloading, obviously, and looking at that Cobra, probably concerned that Cobra is going to look at him as a target, and he does. And it looks like TB wants to stay as close to this corner as he can, probably so that he can firstly hide his left side from anything that may be approaching over there, such as that WT Panzer IV over there, and also just, you know, build it back into cover as quickly as possible. But that Cobra is just not quite giving him the shot that he needs. Now at this point in time, TB Rays is focusing a lot of his attention at that Cobra, and I do think that's probably the best decision. One, because that Cobra is a pretty dangerous target. Two, that Cobra is putting himself in a situation where he could become a threat to that AE Phase 1 if the AE Phase 1 gives him an opportunity. Also, as you can see, that Patton tank is being destroyed by the enemy team. I do think that the allies out in the field here need his support the most. And although I definitely do think that his base could use some help with the defense against those BZs, it's a tough decision. And, I mean, look at this. Cobra is giving him the slimmest of shots, possibly making a mistake just like that. That was probably the right decision, because turning around and going after those BZs would be very time consuming unless the BZ brings himself to TB Rays, like he's almost doing here, but that BZ has to go through the T10 first, and TB looks very conflicted right here. I'm not sure if he's just trying to hide behind the rubble here in case that Cobra has a line of sight on him, or if he really is just not sure which way he wants to go. And I think there he also determined that he can't see through that window and hit that Cobra, because his tank is just too low to the ground, unless he either goes up on this embankment like he is, or pokes around the corner to where he was previously. Let's see if he can get that finishing shot off on the Cobra, and make... Well, he's not getting that one. He's not getting a 6th kill at this point. He's going to have to work a lot harder for that one. He's so close to that Top Gun, and he's already done over 5,000 damage. Let's see what he chooses to do now. That Waffentrager is still over there, still out of line of sight. It's probably going to finish off. There goes the AE Phase 1. And despite TB Ray's team having more vehicles left, it does have substantially less hit points remaining. So it'll be very imperative that TB Rays makes the shot count, and hardly needs to hit him now after that big artillery strike, and eliminates that dangerous BZ-176. There we go. No more BZ-176s. That AMX 1390 that was over there is gone. Now it's just down to the E50 and the Waffentrager Panzer IV, and I think that TB Rays is being very aware of the Waffentrager Panzer IV, because he could potentially be one-shot by that vehicle. So he's trying to keep that barrier on his left side, I think, just to make sure he doesn't get surprised by that. And that WT does have a pretty good camo rating, and TB Rays does have a fairly poor view range. It would probably make it pretty easy for that WT to pop up in the bush out in the middle of the field there and shoot TB Rays before he really even knows what's happening. But looks like that E50 isn't going to make the mistake of feeding himself a TB Rays, so maybe TB Rays is going to have to work for this one. TB Rays, once again, very cautiously backing out of there. Try to keep his gun pointed towards the Waffentrager, at the very least, I imagine, and his armor, just so he can be ready if he does pop up at a moment's notice. Because obviously being a tank destroyer without a turret, that kind of thing might happen. And there will be absolutely nothing TB can do if his butt is facing the enemy. Now, things are still looking pretty similar. The enemy team has a little bit of a hit point advantage, but not as much as they did a few minutes ago, and it's still a 4v2. It's looking pretty good for TB Ray's team, right? Yeah, just remember that for a minute. The defender is kind of all alone on his own flank with the E50. E50 still has a decent amount of hit points. It would take several shots for the defender to finish him off. The G-SOR is back by the artillery, but heading this way towards TB Rays, and it looks like TB might be going off on a bit of a hunt. Let's see if he can spot anything poking up in this bush. Maybe he'll get lucky and catch that Waffentrager out. No, guess not. Worth a try. Couldn't have hurt, right? Well, look at that. Put that shot. That's a very important shot for TB, because now they're both one-shots for each other. TB has even the playing field. The G-SOR just couldn't quite finish off that WT. Didn't quite have the chance. The E50 has finished off the defender. So that means that despite TV Rays having carried hard enough to get 6 kills so far, and his team having the hit point advantage, it does mean that the tables have turned a little bit. Look at the enemy vehicles remaining. We have an E50 and a Waffenträger Panzer IV versus an Object 704 and an artillery piece. And he has been spotted, looks like, by that Waffenträger. That's very lucky that the Waffenträger didn't manage to get a shot in there, a sneaky one. And I don't think that E50 can shoot TV Rays in the back anymore, hopefully. I think that he's moved far enough out of the render distance that shouldn't be a concern, unless that E50 intends to pursue. But looking at the minimap, it does look like he's going after the artillery instead, which is an okay thing in this situation. It does give TV Rays a little bit of time to go on the hunt, and he's going to take full advantage of that. He does not want to have to face 2 tanks at once, especially when he doesn't have a turret like this. That is a huge disadvantage in any vehicle, especially something like this. I thought it was very brave that TB just went out into the field like this, but I guess he had no choice. That Waffenträger could have been hiding in that bush where he was last spotted very easily and probably got a free shot on TB, and it's unlikely that TB would have survived that shot. Now it's a question of where is that Waffenträger? Where could it have gone? It must be up here somewhere. No, he's back there. They must have just been moving in the right places the entire time where they didn't see each other. And that Waffenträger, is he... I'm not sure what was going on there. I don't know if that Waffenträger didn't notice that TB had been spotted. I feel like he would have. There would have been an audible noise, you know, the big blip up here on the mini-map, all that stuff. But maybe he just panicked. I don't know. I think that Waffenträger's only chance would have been to slam on the brakes and try to get his gun on TB as quick as possible and make that snapshot and just hope for the best. But now, look at the battle we have ahead of us. TB Rays sitting at 7 kills. The enemy E50, the sole remaining enemy tank, is on 6 kills himself. This could be a battle of the Sorta Titans. That's not really the word, but whatever. But it looks like that E50 does have 939 hit points, and TB Rays has a 750 alpha gun. So what I'm trying to say is that it's going to take 2 shots of them to kill each other, either way. That's maybe going to be a problem, because this E50 is almost certainly going to be able to outspot TB Rays, given the view range that these vehicles have. Unless TB has binoculars, which he does, but it's not really a big help here. They both spot each other, and the E50 manages to get the first shot into TB Rays, which is really, really unfortunate. But hey, look at that. That E50 actually doesn't have as many hit points as the game was telling us, which is a semi-wonderful thing for TB Rays here, because that means that at least they're both one-shots for each other now. And I'm expecting that E50 to poke around the right side of this building now, so that he's poking in the opposite place he was spotted last, but that's not going to happen. And again, aiming is a funny thing in World of Tanks. Look at that. TB Rays hardly even aimed. He didn't have time to aim. He had to gamble on that one. If he had stopped and aimed that shot perfectly, he would have been dead before he was fully aimed. He had no choice whatsoever. And luckily for you, TB Rays, that last second desperate gamble of a shot, I mean, totally, completely confident, skillfully placed shot, was exactly what you needed to secure this battle for your team. Congratulations on that result. I'm sure that battle got your heart pumping pretty good, and I'm sure we'll see something from you again in the very near future. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good one.